everybody. My name is Lindrell Downs. I'm the founder of Cybersecurity Divas, and I'm also a recruiter for Fortify Experts. I am here for a mission of diversity in the workplace, and I have Stacy Wallace. She is the CISO of Chief Information Security Officer for Arizona Department of Revenue. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, thank you for having me. A little bit about myself is I have been a CISO for the Department of Revenue in Arizona for at least 5 years. Before that, I was the security architect for the agency. And I also have a background in Department of Defense. I've been in IT technology for over 20 years, and I really enjoy the inclusivity and diversity that I'm experiencing these latest few years in IT. I have 3 adult children and 2 granddogs, and I really appreciate what you're doing with Divas, and I greatly appreciate this opportunity to talk with you.
So how did you get interested in cybersecurity in the first place?
It was sort of accidental that I came into this space. Not too long after September 11th, I was working programs for our military and was in the IT shops there, and we had executive orders about cybersecurity that came through, and everyone in IT in the programs I worked were extremely busy. So all the RF engineers, for example, were very busy doing project work, testing work on radio frequency. A lot of the developers that I worked with were very busy on product development. Software engineers were very busy in their domains. And I was sort of the catch-all of IT. I was young, in my 20s, and I would kind of do the extra duties, which included safe inventory, access control list building, greeting guests at the door, developing visitor logs. So I would be the one that would read the memos and the executive orders and then tell the IT teams, hey, we've got these new things we have to do. And since no one else really wanted to do the security, and since I was the catch-all, I started taking over the security aspects post-9.
I love that. One of those people that actually take initiative and doing what everybody else doesn't want to do. I love hearing those types of stories. So give me 3 words that describe yourself.
I would describe myself as inclusive, ethical, and I do a lot of self-reflecting to understand how to be ethical and inclusive.
How do you believe diversity within a cybersecurity team contributes to a better security outcome and risk management?
I've seen this work time and time again. You have to. A key element of ensuring robust cyber programs is diversity. You have to look at things from multiple perspectives, multiple backgrounds, and you're not going to have, for example, you're not going to have a hacker or someone accidentally doing stuff to put your agency or organization at risk that thinks just like you. You have to have multiple perspectives, and the best way to do that is to develop diversity in your organization.
Yes, I totally agree. How does diversity influence the decision-making process within your cybersecurity initiative?
It's important to, when you're decision making, it's important to understand not only your stakeholders. Obviously, just as important as it is to understand your stakeholders, it's really important to take the time to step back and look at a problem and potential resolutions as well with a lens of diversity, meaning your stakeholders may or may not be diverse. If they are not diverse, what other perspectives can you bring in to the equation? An example is developing software to meet specific requirements. Looking at your stakeholders, do we have all the requirements? Do we have all the perspectives at the table? Oftentimes we miss things like ADA compliance. We automatically think software needs to be ADA compliant. You think physical doors, windows, or restrooms, or what have you, but also software does too. So that's where not only looking at your stakeholders, but then flipping the problem into different areas and thinking, what are the various people using software or using a product? What other compliance requirements may we have? Maybe we need to have a lawyer look at this. Maybe we need to have a compliance team review. So it's looking at it from multiple different perspectives, from stakeholders, as well as multiple different perspective on your clientele or who's going to be using your product.
Okay, I like that. How do you ensure that your cybersecurity training programs are inclusive and addresses the needs of a diverse workforce?
This is an area that is one of the domains of cybersecurity. Obviously, we have security awareness and training. However, we also have a training team that looks beyond cybersecurity. So I find a lot of these cybersecurity programs or security controls within our cybersecurity element, I look at them and try to partner or find someone who's a better or bigger expert, has a bigger knowledge base than I do. And I will partner with other training teams and training professionals that have, their teams have diversity. And then I look amongst my team, somebody that may have a passion or somebody that might have a different perspective than me, and I include them at the table as well.
Okay, I like that. So, dealing with metrics and success, what metrics do you use to measure the effectiveness of diversity initiatives in your cybersecurity team, and what outcomes have you observed?
In the past, I'll give you an example of this one. In the past, I had a very homogenous team and didn't know really how to go about bringing in more diversity. This was many years ago, before we had formalized DEI programs to help us. So I partnered with an HR professional who did have the knowledge and the skills. I sat down with an HR business partner and said, I would like to get a little bit more diversity. We all have the same background. We're all looking at problems the same way. I think I need help here. And she says, it sounds like you need diversity on your team. So we sat down and I went through a questionnaire, and the recruiting process was very specific to ensure that we were getting qualified candidates that met all the qualifications, but maybe they were branching out in different areas, because I'm cybersecurity through and through. So I'm going to be looking at cybersecurity organizations. I reach out to who I know, but partnering with someone who had a wider net, who could go into universities and go into maybe some clubs that were very specific to, let's say, minorities and women and people of all different diverse backgrounds, that maybe instead of just a cyber focus or just a software focus, maybe they had a different focus to bring to the team. And it was very helpful partnering with someone who had more knowledge in that area than I did.
How important is it for leadership in cybersecurity to reflect the diversity of the workforce and the community they serve? One
thing we say in cybersecurity, and it's really true for everything we do, without executive leadership support, we really do not have a voice. So it is imperative that executive leadership help us with diversity. And that could be whether it's formalized programs or whether it's just pausing and asking the question, did you look outside of your norm when you recruited? Even if it's just a pause, it doesn't necessarily have to be a formalized program, but it does need to be thought of and supported at the executive level.
Yes, I agree with that. How have you been able to reach the level in your career being in such a male-dominant specialty? What did you do? What did you do different to get where you're at today?
That is a great question. A lot of men supported me. A lot of men took it upon themselves to notice how I was treated differently. Not so much now, but especially 20 years ago. 10 years ago. It was tough being the only female with hundreds of peers, or 10 to 20 to 50 downrange. I worked classified programs in very secluded areas, and I've had great relationships with men. So a lot of men helped me in my career, and they noticed. They would notice and stop and say, let's hear what Stacy has to say. It just took one person in a room of many to say, hey, I would like to hear what Stacy has to say. So not everybody gets that, but when I did get that opportunity, I would let the person know how much it meant to have a voice at the table. I've had several men help me in my career because I didn't have any other females to help me in some cases.
Yes.
And it also took finding mentors. So I didn't have anybody to understand what I was going through in the workplace.
Mhm.
Mentors were that person. I'm from a military family, so we have a very small family. So I had to look towards mentors in the workplace, other females that had gone through some of the things that I've went through, just to have someone to feel normal sometimes
Yes.
where I'm being treated differently. It doesn't make me feel good. I'm starting to lose some self-confidence here. Have you ever experienced this? So it was nice to have mentors, but also it couldn't stop there. I needed to continuously pursue education or certs or something to get me noticed. I felt like I had to work twice as hard and have some certs or education to show for it, on top of knowing and working in the field. It didn't feel
Yes.
like one or the other was good enough. Education wasn't good enough, certs were not good enough, and working and knowing my stuff wasn't good enough. I had to be a triple threat in order to get a job. So
Yep.
just a
I
combination,
understand that.
yeah, just a combination of all of it.
Yes. I understand that one completely. So, Stacy, I really appreciate you going through these questions for me and being a diva like you are, driven, inspirational, visionary that's taking action security. Divas, that's who you are. Well, let's keep this dream alive and this journey alive and making more junior divas out there to become divas like yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I very much appreciate what you're doing.